So you may actually have to make sure that you speak up.
I will speak up for this podcast until we get microphones.
All right. And hey, what's going on? This is Alex and this is Liz.
Hello.
And I don't even know how to start this. So basically, I wanted to actually. Okay, let me back up. It's been a while that I've been wanting to do something like this, where it incorporates Liz and myself, it incorporates the girls in some way, and basically this would be the very first video / podcast of the Married to Family podcast, or video, whatever you want to call it, vlog.
We'll figure it out.
Anyways, I just basically want to talk about things that we have overcome or dealt with or continue to experience through our marriage. I always get messages on Facebook and on Instagram, either complimenting Liz and I on just how we come across on social media. People who know us in real life, sometimes we'll get questions. They've asked us about the kids. They've asked us about, we've been together for 17 years now this coming summer.
May.
Well, no, we've been married 14 years in May, but together for 17 years.
He's better at the dates than I am.
Yeah, and that's something I want to address too, because normally you hear about wives being upset with their husbands not remembering dates.
That's a different podcast.
Yeah, she doesn't know any of the dates. I know all of our dates,
I know they flirted once.
But it's all right. Yeah, then that's one of the things I want to talk about. Well, I guess we'll just get into it. So I just figured for this episode. Oh, and real quick, part of the reason why I wanted to do this now is because with everything going on, I figured this would be a good distraction, while also providing anybody who wants to know some type of value, if you find any value in it. So, yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, so what are we talking about today, Alex?
All right, so basically this episode is all about...
What are we talking about today?
So this episode, and that's Alyssa behind the camera. She's making sure that we're in focus and everything good like that. So today I wanted to talk about what I call the Beauty and the Beast balance. And and what I mean by that is, just like in the movie, there's the beast and then there's Belle, there's the beauty. And when it comes to relationships, mm-hmm. I think sometimes, especially in our relationship, we have two very different personalities in how we deal with things that relate to the children.
Just to love, almost everything. It is kind of like, for us anyways, the whole opposites attract kind of thing. Yeah, opposites attract. That's what we got going on right here.
But the funny thing about that is that it does balance out.
Yeah.
So one of the first things I want to talk about was, especially when the kids were a lot younger.
Yeah.
If I was real quick to be very abrupt and very kind of like, no, this or something like that. And she always had this like way more. Oh, that's okay. Sorry. She always had this way more subtle approach. If one of the kids were crying, then I would always be very quick to be like, "Stop that! Stop crying! This and that, blah blah blah." And that's just kind of the way that my brother and I were raised, also. But you approached it differently.
I guess I'm into the whole like, oh, it's okay, whatever, and then like distracts.
Even if it wasn't okay, but still, go ahead.
Well, yeah, not making that, but I don't even know how to describe it.
No, go ahead. No, but actually talk about it, because that's kind of what I'm trying to get across, is that I am not that way anymore. And sometimes I think about it and I wish when all the kids were younger, I wasn't so abrupt. You know what I mean? But when you look at them now as they've gotten older, you see that they kind of teeter-totter between both ways, because they have your nurturing way, but at the same time, you can tell when they're not willing to tolerate something, and they're just kind of like...
Well, I think we've both grown, because I've grown that way too, like, because it used to be very like, oh, it's okay, and just like talk through and try to explain everything, but there are some times where you do need to be like, no, as a parent and stuff, or whatever, that you have to be like, no, that's just that, because it's for the good of the child, or the best thing to do in that situation, and some stuff like that. And I think as our relationship has gone on, that we've kind of like adopted each other's behaviors because there's sometimes where he like
osmosis. What is that? I don't know.
Osmosis Jones.
Who knows what? Yeah, that's the one.
Because there's sometimes now that you're more patient and you'll talk, and there's other times where I'm like, nope, that's it.
That is true.
Kind of like balance each other out.
Yeah. So, and yeah, exactly. Because I can't, and we've talked about it before too, where like I can't imagine if, and this will be a different episode, just something that popped in my head, but we've talked about it, where if you have two people who are very, I guess, emotional, you know what I mean? Then you're probably getting into way more arguments, you know, whereas like, and just so in case you don't know already, I'm sure whoever's watching this, if you do know, I wear my emotions on my sleeve, and she's the more calm and cool one. I mean, sometimes.
I don't know about cool, but I'm usually pretty calm.
So, but yeah, so we'll talk about that. But anyway, so that's the abrupt situation. And then the other thing I want to talk about, I got the notes right over there, by the way. Your way of when the kids were a lot younger, your way of dealing with what you just said would be that whole distraction thing.
Sleight of hand.
The sleight of hand, where like if one of them didn't want to tie their shoes right away, and we had to go someplace, I would sit them down and I would start tying their shoe real quick, and I would let them know that I was annoyed. This is like years ago, by the way. This is not recent, but this is years ago. Mama would just...
Your shoes are having some trouble. Do you think you could help them out?
Because the shoes are alive.
I don't know. Let's see. Let's see if we can get them together. They're feeling a little sad. They want to hold hands. Let's try it. Okay.
But it worked. But it would work. And I mean, it was genius when we were first dating and I saw you do that with Bree and with Kayla. And it was just, so but it's still, like you said, then there were other times when we really did have to go someplace and then she's doing that. And then I'd have to be this like, pick the kid up and let's go.
Yeah.
Right?
There's a need for a sack of potatoes.
Lastly, the last thing I want to say, because I didn't know how long we were going to make this, was about how you mentioned earlier, just not too long ago, about opposites, and I just kind of hit on that also with the whole emotional thing. If we were constantly both of us being so nurturing, I think what could happen from that is where a kid may misinterpret that as being like not knowing sometimes when to just put your foot down, not knowing when to just okay, enough is enough. And then the opposite's also true, right? Like if we were both very
like too overbearing or too like what is the word, authoritative or whatever, then
well, then life's just not happy if you're dealing
it's not fun. It's just demands and things like that.
Yeah. Sorry, there's a cat.
It's okay.
But with what you just said, if you think about it in your family structure, right? If you are both very authoritative, I imagine it's very structured. Things get done, but it's almost like life isn't fun, And I can only speak from our experience. And I know that when I was growing up, things were very serious. Parents loved us, but I know when things were very strict, it kind of sucked the joy out of it. But I also know the opposite, that if you're just too wishy-washy and too
it makes it hard for things to get done.
Yeah. So in that aspect, though, we both definitely have balanced each other out.
Yeah, you kind of blend it because, like, it's kind of like you have your schedule and stuff like that, but it's not set in stone. It's like a flowing or bendable. I don't know. I lost the word. But, like...
malleable.
Yeah. So, like, you're able to, like, pivot or, like, restructure or go with it if it doesn't go exactly according to plan to better suit everybody and keep everybody happy.
Which is fine. And years ago, that would not have been fine with me. Right? Any little bit of change, I would not have liked. I don't like change. I have grown quite a bit. Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't like change, right? For the most part. But over the past years, I've gotten used to it. Now I kind of look forward to it because I know it's going to happen anyways. Yeah. But beforehand... Somebody told me without change, there's no butterflies. Who told you that?
I feel like my aunt. Or somebody. Probably a lot of people.
Okay. So, you want to ask anything about what we're talking about? Any input on any of that?
Yeah.
I mean, you're a kid. You're a child of ours. You've made it to 15 so far. Well, you'll be 15 this summer.
Ouch.
There's anything that we're talking about, like, when it's weird since you're the kid, one of the kids that we're talking about, right? But does any of that make sense? So, does that make any sense to you? Sorry, the camera shut off, so.
We don't have to put you on the spot.
Yeah, it does make sense.
Have I gotten better as a dad?
Yeah. He used to.
Well, I never was a bad dad, right?
No. He used to be very strict, but loving at the same time, because we knew it was from love. But like.
Just annoying.
A little bit. But he's more loving, more cool, and stuff like that.
More cool?
Yeah.
Cool.
Both of them are very cool parents. Did a good job.
She wants a prize.
Just a cookie, that's it.
Well, so I think that's only been like 10 minutes, right? 12 minutes or something like that. So we didn't really have a plan with this. We just kind of put it together. And like I said, I just kind of wanted to make something that maybe you guys might enjoy. Maybe, I don't think they really heard you talk much.
Oh,
So
that's
people,
okay.
huh?
I think she's being loud enough.
Oh, no. I mean, like, I've heard often that people like, because they see pictures of you, they see posts of you, but they don't see you actually talk.
Well, I'm sure the more we do, the more we'll talk. But you're the talker in the relationship, and I'm okay with that.
Opposites again. So Beauty and the Beast. So if you did like this, just let us know. But even more importantly, if there's anything that you ever want to see us answer or talk about, a topic, anything that, whether it's dealing with you or you're just curious about it, just shoot me a message. Post it in the comments wherever this is. I don't know if we're just doing this on Facebook or if we're going to put this on YouTube. I don't know yet. But yeah, just find a way to just leave a comment or like and share. And I hope you found value in this, and I hope you got at least a little distracted from everything that's going on. Anything you want to say?
No, thank you for watching. I hope you watch. Hope somebody watches.
Subscribe down below.
Yeah, Alyssa just let us know. So if this is on YouTube, I guess subscribe below somewhere. I don't know.
And like
wherever
What's that?
the thing's gonna be.
Oh, I thought you said so. Sorry.
Thumbs up.
and comment.
Like and comment. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Oh.